Getting a major label sound used to mean one or two things: having deep pockets for studio time or spending hours of endless tweaking at home after work. But when the pandemic hit, everything changed. Suddenly major artists like Taylor Swift, Adele and Shawn Mendes were all recording albums remotely. And the surprising part is, they all said it gave them the freedom to create more authentic and emotional music, while still being radio ready. But the real question is, can an indie artist with a fraction of a budget and a busy schedule achieve the same thing? Well, in this video I teamed up with the online recording studio to find out. They took one of my rough voice memos and transformed it into a radio ready polished track that you'll hear on Spotify. If you've been on my channel before, you know I'm all about helping songwriters turn inspired ideas into finished songs. I analyze songs, I pick out patterns, and I share them here as frameworks. And those frameworks have helped thousands of songwriters get past their creative blocks. But it's also led to a bit of an awkward situation. When your time's limited, you focus on what matters, right? And for me, that's always been writing, not production. So, like many of you, I have my bottlenecks, and mine is finding time to record between creating content, doing coaching calls, and my own songwriting, which means I never get to release the songs that I write. And as a songwriting coach, the irony of that isn't lost on me. I help people finish songs while sitting on dozens of my own. So this year I made the decision to stop sitting on those songs and start releasing them. However, that decision didn't just magically free up my schedule. So I had to go looking for solutions, and that's when I came across the online recording studio. And their promise was simple: send us your rough demo and we'll do the rest. I jumped on a call with Joe Wadsworth, founder of the online recording studio. Joe, how you doing? Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too, Tony. Thanks so much for taking the time to jump on.
The online recording studio has been helping independent singer-songwriters produce radio quality tracks from home for nearly a decade, with over 8,000 artists served. Joe walked me through the process, and it was simple. You send in a rough demo, you chat through your vision, and Joe pairs you with a producer that can bring that vision to life. Then, from arrangement to session players to the finished polish, they handle the rest. And the best part is, you keep full creative control throughout the project and 100% of your rights. What really struck me about Joe was how passionate he was about helping to bring out an artist's authentic voice and quash any of the fears like I'm not good enough or I'm not ready, and really find the potential beneath the rough recordings, not just technically but creatively. I really felt like I was putting my songs in the right hands. So I've been going through my old demos, trying to figure out which ones to send to Joe. And honestly, now that I know this is going to actually be released, all I can hear is how crap my vocals have gotten. I've fronted bands for years, did the solo thing, but you know, singing never came naturally to me. I had to work at it really hard. And I haven't been keeping that practice up lately. Yeah, so... Okay, Joe, you got your work cut out for you. Writing a song is hard enough, but recording it and producing it to a standard that holds up against the best out there, that's another level. So I decided to go all in with the online recording studio. And that night, I emailed Joe some tracks.
So I had a chance to listen through to the 3 demos that you sent over. There's some cool stuff though, man. The one that I'd really like to dig into is Stone Man. Can you tell me a bit about that one?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess, you know, it's basically about, you know, trying to move forward in life, you know, but somehow being stuck, you know, do you know what I mean? A couple of days later, I jumped on another call with Joe to figure out which song we'd move forward with. We both landed on a song called Stone Man. Joe not only really seemed to like the song, but he really cared about understanding why it mattered to me. He really listened and then started thinking about who'd be the right producer to help me bring this story to life. Not just someone who could mix a good track, but someone who could get inside the emotion of the song. Okay, 5th of January 2025, day 1, get my crappy vocals back in shape. A couple of days later, Joe emailed me. He was connecting me with Ian Mahanty, guitarist and producer from Kids in Glass Houses. Ian was going to produce Stone Man. Ian, how you doing?
Yes, I'm good.
Honestly, I thought working remotely might be a huge drawback, not being in the same room as the musicians and the producer. But talking to Ian was easy. He clearly knew his stuff, but more importantly, he respected the vision of the song. He listened, he asked the right questions, and he had some great ideas. It had been years since I collaborated at this level, and I was feeling excited. I felt ready, but that didn't last long. So it's the 14th of January, and I just got word that my dad has passed away. It's a bit of a weird one. We were basically estranged, so I keep waiting to feel something, but it's kind of hard to feel anything for a stranger, right? He was a singer, the old man. It's probably why I got into music in the first place. I'd never tell him that. Anyway, I have to put this on hold and go back to Dublin for the funeral. I've let Joe know, he's been really supportive, but yeah. When I got back from Dublin, I was feeling pretty low. All those feelings I didn't have, well, they showed up at the funeral, and they hit harder than I expected. But waiting for me when I got home was Ian's first production draft of Stone Man. It sounded incredible. For a first draft, it was so tight, it was cinematic, and it sounded professional. And for a second there, I felt proud. But the production sounded so good, it made my voice feel even more exposed. And suddenly, this wasn't just a project anymore. It was real. When I got that first draft back of Stone Man with Ian's production, it sounded surreal. Some of the parts were exactly like I imagined, and some of the ideas that Ian had thrown in on top, it just took it to a new level. So I jumped on a call with him to give him some feedback. Coming into the second half of the that first verse, I was thinking, because I was, the first idea that I had was the drums coming in on that second half is like giving it, taking you out of that kind of dream state and slapping back into reality. So I was thinking, and we, try this out and see how it sounds and see what you think. But if the drums come in on the word life.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. Maybe we could make the intro sound a bit dreamier as well. Like, it sounds really nice at the moment, but maybe if we could potentially like push it a little bit further back, and then maybe bring everything a bit more into focus when it kicks in on that snare hit.
Yeah, I was feeling the same. Ian really understood what I was going for here. I could describe something I was hearing in my head, and a couple of days later, he'd send back a version that nailed that feeling, and my excitement shot up again. Well, for a while. So I've been pushing a bit too hard trying to get these vocals. I really want to match that quality Ian's gotten on the production, but my voice isn't cooperating. So much for muscle memory, huh? I knew I had to pull back and rest my voice. The more I struggled, the louder those doubts got. Maybe I wasn't good enough to do this. Okay, so Ian's getting the live drums down on the track, and then I'm up for the vocals. Been thinking about my dad quite a bit. Just the last time I saw him, I think it was like 2017. We just accidentally bumped into him in a pub. Just didn't realize that'd be the last time I'd ever speak to him. And I keep remembering what he said to me. He said, "Tony, I think I'm cursed because everything always turns out shit." I guess being stuck runs in the family. Songwriting's weird like that. You write a song and you think you know what it's about. shows you what it's actually about. And we're all scared of something, right? We make excuses and we rationalize them. Call them a curse. I'm starting to see this song isn't about being stuck. It's about having a choice to stay stuck, or to get up and move. I guess my dad never saw that choice. My dad always ran when things got hard, and I've been doing the same thing by hiding behind my excuses. If I can get this finished, get it out there, say this is me, I know I can break free from that pattern. I close my eyes and I drift away to the hazy rain, dance on summer leaves. Feels like I'm caught in the headlight. Trying to do everything on your own is the fastest way to get stuck. The likes of Taylor Swift or Adele, they don't produce their own music, they focus on writing songs. Then they surround themselves with experts that can bring that music to life. Think about it this way, if you were to hire a studio, an engineer, a producer and some session players, you're looking at 2 to 3 grand minimum, and realistically more like 10 grand if you want that label level quality. This whole project came in at about $800. Look, producing a track that sounds this good is gonna cost you something. That's all the more reason you should be spending your time and your money wisely. But if you're looking to take the next step, I can't recommend the online recording studio highly enough. So if you've got songs ready to go, or you just even want feedback on the songs you have written, you can book a free, no obligation call with Joe. And he's hooked me up with a 10% discount off your first booking if you use the link below in the description. I could be